All right, so before we get started balancing these equations, let's go through some rules. And there's just rules. You don't have to follow them if you don't want to. You can figure out your own way. But these are rules that I have found that have helped me. Number one, list all the elements under the arrow. If you have a polyatomic ion, a Costco item, a group, keep them together. Keep them together. More often than not, they're going to be together on the other side. So think of them as one thing, and that will really help. Hydrogens save for next to last. Oxygen always save for last. Do oxygen last. If you get stuck, double everything. Start again, doubling what you started with. At the end, check your coefficients to make sure you have it in the simplest forms. All right, all of this will make more sense as we get started. I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm going to start calling on volunteers. If you volunteer, that's great. If you don't volunteer, well, I'm going to volunteer you. We have enough so that most of you guys will be able to do one. All right, now this is the long way. You don't have to do it this way. But if this is what makes you comfortable, then more power to you. You've got 1 mg. Consider mg to be a skittle. You've got 2 O's. You've got an MgO. So you have these skittles here. I look on the left. I start with Mg. How many Mg skittles do I have? I have 1. How many Mg skittles do I have on this side? 1. I'm good with Mg. Happy. How many skittles of O's do I have here? 2. How many skittles of O do I have here? 1. I don't have enough on the right. Okay? So I can't just go through and put a little 2 here. That would be great. That would solve the problem. But then I would have a wrong chemical formula. MgO2 does not exist. That's wrong. I can't put little numbers to fix things. I can only fix things by big numbers. And by putting a 2 here, I now get another set of skittles. Now do I have the right amount of oxygen? I have, using the distributive property, 2 oxygens. Now, one of the things I always like to do before I go on to the next question is to go back and check everything, because sometimes in order to fix something, I may undo something that I had already fixed. And let's see if that worked here. How many mg's? How many mg's? 2. I messed it up, didn't I? Okay, so what do I need to have on this side? Another mg. So how many mg's? 2. How many O2s? 1, and 1s are understood. How many MgOs? 2. All right. Volunteer. Jacob, how many C's? How many C's? 1. How many S's? 'How many S's? Okay, it would be great if I could just scratch away the 2 and put an 8 there, but you can't do that. So if you need more S's, which we do, we need 8 of them, you're going to have to add them in groups of CS2s. So how many CS2s do you need in order to have 8? That's 4. 6, 8. Okay, so we fixed the S's. Let's go back and check on the C's. How many C's? How many C's? 4. So what are we going to have to do on this side? So a total of what? We already have 8 S's. I need to know what big number to put there. 1. And what big number goes there? Good job. It's probably best to, if you're going to volunteer early rather than later, because they do get harder in later times. All right. Volunteer for this one. Matthew, how many NAs? Let's see if we can't do this without drawing all the little skittles. How many NAs, Matthew? How many NAs? 2. 2 NAs. See that? 2 NAs. So what can you multiply 1 Na by in order to have 2 as well? How many oxygens? How many oxygens? Okay, done? It's the second page of yesterday's notes. Yesterday's notes. Yeah. What? 211. 211. Yes. You want to try one? Good job, man. I didn't get this kind of volunteer spirit from my last class, so I commend you. How many CSs? Okay, you're getting ahead of us. Let's try. For the people who are not as fast as you are, let's try. How many CS is there? 1. How many CS is there? 3. Okay, well, we got to fix that, don't we? So what number can we put there that would also give us 3? 3. I know where you're going, but we're not there yet. You're going to confuse people. How many N's? How many N's? We don't have enough N's. So what can you multiply this whole thing by in order to have 2 N's as well? All right. Since we mucked around with CS, we better go back and make sure we didn't mess around CS. How many CS's? How many CS's? 2 3s is so we did screw around with the CS. So what can we do in order to fix the CS on the left? So 3 times 2 is 6, 1, 2. Can we factor that down any further? No. What do you think? Man, you guys are doing really well. Really well. I'm pleased. 6, 1, 2 or 6 blank 2. Any questions? You weren't here yesterday. That's why. No. No. Here, I'll trade you. Volunteer. We're out of volunteers? No. I want one person. Okay, Maximus. I'm telling you, I'm going to volunteer you. So the best thing you can do, and when we get to the end, they get harder. So these people are smart. They're volunteering when they're easy. How many irons? And over here? Okay, well, what can you multiply the 1 by in order to get 2? How many oxygens? How many oxygens? Ooh, so we got 2 on one side and 3 on the other. And this should kind of give you a mathy feeling, right? Because is there any way that you could multiply that 2 by that will give you an odd number? If you multiply by 2, it gives you 4. If you multiply by 3, it gives you 6. So we cannot ever fix this one with this one being an odd number. So that 3 has to, it can't be an odd number. And we can't change the 3. What can we multiply that 3 by in order to get an even number? Okay, so 2 times 3 makes 6. What times 2 will give you 6? Okay, now you're beginning to see that sometimes in our desire to fix something, we may mess something up that we thought was fixed. So always go back and check. How many irons? How many irons? Ooh, we did screw up iron, didn't we? 4. So what times 1 will give you 4? Okay, so 4, 3, and 2, do we need to factor that down? No. Good job, Maximus. Any questions? Volunteer. Oscar. How many S's? How many S's? Okay, I mean, it's there, so it can't be 0. It doesn't have a number here, so you have to say that it is 1. So what can we multiply that 1 by in order to have 8? How many F's? How many F's? 8 times 8 is... Guys, I don't want any whispering answers. He's got a calculator. He can do it. You don't have a calculator? I thought we've established that every day you're going to need a calculator and periodic table. Understand? That's what these calculators are here for. You need a calculator. Come get one. 8 times 8, Oscar. All right, what times 2 will give you 64? What? 22 times 2 is 44, bud. How about 64 divided by 2, which will give you the same thing? All right, let's check. How many S's? How many S's? Eight times 1. 32 times 2 for the F's. 8 times 8 is. Good job. All right. These are called combustion reactions, and it always involves a hydrocarbon plus oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. And these are a little dangerous. Can you tell me why they're a little dangerous? What? On the right side, why are they a little dangerous for us? Look at the O's. There's 2 places where you can find O. That makes it a little dangerous because it's something you're going to have to combine. All right, volunteer. All right, Deo. How many C's? How many C's? How many H's? How many H's? What times 2 will give you 4? What? How many O's? How many O's? And how many O's? You got 2 1s. 2 plus 2. What times 2 will give you 4? All right, let's go back and check. How many carbons? How many carbons? How many hydrogens? How many hydrogens? 2 2s. How many oxygens? And you've got 2 here and 2 1s. That's 4. Good job. All right, here's some with polyatomic ions. You're going to have to go through, I'm sorry. That's what happens. But folks, this is what happens when you're absent. You can't expect a teacher to stop what they're doing and go back and reteach what you missed when you were absent, folks. You can't. That's what tutoring time is for. I am here every morning at 7 o'clock if you need my help. I am here during lunchtime if you need my help. Okay, and oftentimes, as you see I'm doing here, I will put a video up here so that you can watch the video that you missed yesterday. But if you remember, that PowerPoint was really good, and that's on Canvas. And that PowerPoint will take you step by step on how to do this. So what I would recommend you do so that you don't fail everything we're going to do from now on is go through the PowerPoint. Download it, go through it. Yes. All right. Polyatomic ions. Hydroxide is a group. Carbonate is a group. So look what I'm doing. I'm circling it in order to help me understand that this is, treat it as one thing. And don't treat it as 1 oxygen, 1 hydrogen, 1 carbon, 3 oxygens. If you want, you can do that, but it'll be harder. It's easier to treat it as one whole piece. Okay? So, anybody want to volunteer to help me with this one? It's actually fairly easy if you do what I tell you to do, which is treat it as one thing. No. Yes. CO3. And these are in the back of your periodic tables. They're COSCO ions. Remember COSCO ions? The polyatomic ions. Okay, so you have 1 carbon and 3 oxygen in that Skittle. It's like if a Skittle was made up of smaller Skittles. Okay? Okay, whatever. Whatever works for you. Anybody want to volunteer before I volunteer you? All right, Uni, thank you. How many Ks? How many Ks? All right, let's fix that. So what times 1 gives you 2? All right, now here goes. Up until now, you would want to say, well, I have 2 O. No, not O and not H. This is OH. How many OHs do I have there? Well, 1, but I have 2 of those. So 2 times 1 is 2. How many OHs do I have here? Where do you get 4 here, my friend? 2. I have 2 of what's inside the parentheses. Yes. It is a hydroxide, OH. Treat it as one thing. How many BEs, Uni? How many BEs? How many CO3s? How many CO3s? Okay. Very good. Let's go back and check. I think there was a 2 there. Is that it? How many Ks? How many Ks? 2. How many Ks? 2. How many Ks? How many OHs? How many OHs? 2 ones is a total of 2. How many OHs? How many BEs? How many BEs? We don't need an echo back there. How many CO3s? How many CO3s? Good job, Uni. So 2, 1, 1, 1. All right. Volunteer. No. If you've done one, you're done. Maya. How many CAs? How many CAs? What times 1 will give you 3? All right, here's a group. I know it's a group because it's even in parentheses. Here's a group. Here's a group. How many PO4s? Try again. How many PO4s? 2. How many PO4s on this side? What times 1 will give you 2? How many LIs? How many LIs? There are 2 of those 3s for a total of. So what times 2 will give you 6? How many? Here's a group. How many SO4s? Very good. There are 3 SO4s. How many SO4s? There are 3 SO4s. I think you've got it, Maya, but let's go back and check. How many CAs? How many CAs? How many PO4s? How many PO4s? How many LIs? There's 2 there. 3 times 2 is how many LIs? How many SO4s? How many SO4s? Good job. That's the hardest one up until now. Next, volunteer. Or else I'm going to volunteer you. Best thing to do is just go ahead and get the pain over with. Wes, thank you. How many LIs?
1.
How many LIs?
1.
How many CLs?
1.
How many CLs?
3.
Ooh. What do you multiply 1 by to get 3? How many ALs?
1.
How many ALs?
1.
Okay, we got a parentheses. That means we have a group. Sometimes we get parentheses, sometimes we don't. So how many OHs do we have? What does LiOH3 mean to you? So AlOH3 means this, right?
Yeah.
So how many do you have? 3. How many do you have here?
1.
So what times 1 is 3?
3.
All right, I think we got it. Let's go make sure that we didn't screw something up. How many LIs?
1.
No, that number in front you must multiply through. So how many LIs? 3. How many LIs?
3.
How many CLs?
1.
No, that number in front you must multiply through. How many CLs?
3.
How many ALs?
1.
How many ALs?
1.
How many OHs?
Three.
How many OHs? What?
Three.
He did it. He did it. Good job. That side of the room. I need a volunteer. Thank you, Lacey. How many BEs? How many BEs? We got to fix that. What do we multiply 1 by? All right. This looks like it's multiple atoms, so consider it one thing. How many CO3s? Actually, you've got to multiply the big number through. How many CO3s? No, that would be how many oxygens. How many CO3s? 3. How many CO3s? So what can you multiply that 1 by in order to have 3? How many H's? How many H's? Okay, nope, 6. Yeah, we got a problem here. So we got 6 on this side. What do we have to multiply that 3 by in order to get 6? Oh, I'm sorry, 2. How many PO4s? How many PO4s? Yeah, I think we got it. How many BEs? How many BEs on this side? How many CO3s? How many CO3s? How many H's? How many H's? How many PO4s? How many PO4s? Good job. All right. Somebody on this side. Volunteer yourself or let me volunteer you. Thank you, Genesis. How many carbons? How many carbons? Fix it. Okay. Hold on a second. This computer is going to want to restart, and unless I delay it, it's not going to. Why is it doing this? All right, we're going to have to probably break this in half. Let's see if we can finish with you. So 2, 2. How many H's? How many H's? What times 2 will give you 6? All right, how many O's? Okay, here we have another combustion reaction. So we have 2 sources of O's. 2 times 2 is plus 3 more. Okay, we've got a problem. That's 7. There is no way that you can multiply anything by 2 in order to get an odd number, is there? So that won't work. When that happens, you're going to have to start all over again, and this time double the carbon. One C2H6 is not going to work. Let's try it again. 2 times 2. What times 2 is 4? 2 times 6. What times 2 is 12? 2 times 2. 6 times 1. Total of 4 plus 6. What times 2 gives you 10? All right. We're back. NaClO3. I need a volunteer. Let's see who was last, Genesis. Alex, go. How many NAs? Oops. How many NAs? How many NAs? All right. This doesn't look like any groups here. How many CLs? How many CLs? How many O's? How many O's? Okay, we've already encountered this before, and that you're also going to encounter it in your first question of your worksheet. Whenever you see this 3-2 thing, it's not going to work. There's no way that you can make an even number to become an odd number. So the best thing you can do is multiply the odd by 2 and multiply the even by 3. Let's see if this works. How many oxygens now? How many oxygens now? All right, let's make sure we didn't screw something up. How many NAs? How many NAs? Uh-oh. So what times 1 gives you 2? How many CLs? How many CLs? Byron, you wanted to do one. Okay, don't start with hydrogens and oxygen. Start with carbon first. Go. How many carbons? How many carbons? Uh-oh. What do you multiply 1 by in order to get 7? Okay, now we go to hydrogens. How many hydrogens? What do you multiply 2 by in order to get 8? Okay, always save oxygen for last. How many oxygens there? Be careful because we have 2 sources of oxygen. How many there? (14 plus 4). What times 2 will give you 18? Wow. Can we factor that down any? Is that good? We can't, can we? That side. Anybody left on that side? Daylin, thank you. Okay, it's in parentheses, so that's a clue that this is a group. Do we find NH4 on the other side? Yes, we do. All right, so how many NH4s? Well, there's a 3 on the other end, so what does that mean? 3. How many NH4s over here? No, listen to me. How many NH4s? How many NH4s? 1. So what times 1 will get you 3, just like on the left? Okay, looks like PO4 may be a group as well. Let's see if we have PO4 on the other side too. How many PO4s there? How many PO4s on this side? Uh-oh. So what are we going to have to multiply this by in order to have 4 too? I think that messes up our ammonium, but let's deal with it later. Lead looks like it's just an element. How many there? Here. What do we multiply 1 by in order to get 3? And be careful here. Nitrate appears to be a group. Is there nitrate on the other side? Yes. So 3/4. 3 times 4. Use your calculator. Okay, we only have how many there? 3. So that 3 is going to have to go away. What do we need? What times 1 is 12. 12. Your first instincts were correct. I think we've messed things up, so we better go back and check. How many ammoniums? Look at where I'm drawing the arrow. 4, 3, 1, 12. Hold on. 4, 3, 1, 12. So how many ammoniums? How many ammoniums? I have 3 of them to begin with, and now I'm going to multiply that by 4. How many ammoniums? 12 times 1. 12 times 1 is not 13, but 12. How many phosphates over here if you have 4 in the whole grouping? I have 4 PO4s. How many PO4s on this side? Try again. 4. How many PBs? How many PBs? How many NO3s? Well, we have 4, but then we have 3 of those 4s. 3 times 4. How many NO3s? How many NO3s? Do you see a 12 in front? Okay, so 12 times 1 is... All right, that was a tough one. Good job. Well, you want to do another one? Redeem yourself? Okay. Hope, have I called on you yet? Yes? You, sir. Chris, let's go. How many B's? How many B's? Oh, we got a problem. What times 1 is 2? How many F's? We have 3 F's, but there's 2 of those 3 F's. There's 2 BF3s. 6. How many F's? What times 1 is 6? How many LIs? How many LIs? Yes, but you have 6 of them. So what times 2 is 6? How many SO3s? How many SO3s? Let's go back and check everything. 2, 3, 1, 6. 2, 3, 1, 6. How many B's? How many B's? How many F's? How many F's? How many LIs? How many LIs? How many SO3s? No, that would be how many oxygens. How many SO3s? Don't split them up. How many SO3s? Good job. Jolisha, you're next. How many PBs? There's no more? Oh, okay. All right.